Welcome back to One-on-One with Mr. U. Of course, I am your host, Mr. U. In studio with us, author, coach, entrepreneur, Russell Nohelty is here with us. Russ, how are you, brother?
Good to have you here. Great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Same here, same here. We met through a mutual friend of ours, and you are doing a lot of things that are fairly awesome. I mean, those right behind you, man, are a stream of books that you wrote yourself, man. So you are definitely a busy man. I'm excited about getting to that. Before we do all that, if you're watching and listening for the very first time, guys, thanks for making us part of your week. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn as well. And we're having us up on audio platforms, listening platforms, hopefully within the month of June. We got with jam-packed scheduling wise, so can't make any promises there, but thanks again for making us part of your week. We're excited about this. So Russell, before we get into what you do, man, a little bit about you, man, where you're from, how did you come up, and how did you get to the place where you are right now, man? Drop it on us, man.
Yeah, so I was born in New Jersey. I then moved to...
I'm from New York. I'm in the area.
Oh, yeah, okay. Nice, man. Yeah, like Freehold, like an hour outside, or maybe like 30, maybe. I don't even remember. Honestly, it's like an hour, less than an hour outside of New York. And then we moved to Virginia, Northern Virginia. I went to school in Maryland, and then for the last almost 20 years, I've lived in LA. Okay. And I've touched so many different industries. So you know how most people, when they start a business, like over 20 years, you're like, oh, you do this thing. Like, I know what you do. Like, we were hiring an AC repair person, and it's like, I've been doing AC repair for like 20 years. And you're like, oh, so obviously you got a good referral business going. So I kind of did the opposite of that. I've blown up my businesses so many times. I've like started 7 businesses, 6 have failed. Only one really has like survived more than a decade. And but like I started in news on Capitol Hill, and then I moved to movie and TV, and I did a bunch of fashion photography, and then I did a bunch of writing, and then I moved outside of movies and TV, and I started doing comics, and I started doing publishing, then I started doing nonfiction, then I started doing courses, then I owned a conference, and then so I've done all of these things and started consulting with tech companies, and so the main thing that I do is realize that the lie that everyone is telling, that their industry is unique and doesn't fall into all of the other rules, is like a lie that they tell themselves. It's a very comforting lie. I don't think they're doing it intentionally. But the truth is that about every industry has about 5% of the solution to how to build a successful business. And they all are like very different, disparate things that they do well. And if you can just kind of talk to each other and figure out how they all work, you're suddenly like, oh, it's actually, you think that you're capped out at what you do, but really you're just capped out in the playbook. We call it the stack that like your industry runs, but actually there's unlimited money, because like you could just do this and like, look, they all make money doing this thing. And then people can connect in that. And suddenly they're like, wow, I doubled my income without doing many different things. And so, yeah, I've kind of built this methodology, kind of being a chaos agent for so many years, seeing like the things that people say and then seeing the thing that is actually true. What I am very good at is seeing what is actually true about your business.
I can really relate to one aspect of what you said, because you bounced around, you've done so many different things. Could you, before we get into your work, I want to get into a lot of it, there's a lot to talk about there, but can you kind of detect why you felt like you bounced around in so many different fields? Were you searching for something that you were trying to find? Why do you think you did that?
I think that I thought that it was like, well, honestly, I thought that being a certain kind of person would make me feel whole, would like fill the hole inside of me. And I thought that if I made movies, it was the answer. If like owned this conference, it was the answer. I did this other thing, it was the answer. The truth is that like none of them were the answer, because I had to like look inside myself and like fix the broken inside of me, and not have to rely on all of these other things to validate me. And I kept thinking that I got past that need to be validated, but it just kept popping up. And then eventually, really a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, my business partner and I looked at each other and we're like, this wasn't the answer either. I kind of just want to do something else. And she was like, I kind of just want to do something else also. So it was a very amicable split. We took that, but the truth is that like nothing will fix the hole inside you like actually fixing the hole inside you.
It's hard. It's hard to come back after that, man. That's a mic drop moment right there. Nothing can fix that except fixing it. No, I love that. I love that. All right. So you do a few, well, you do more than a few things, but we're going to focus on your work as an entrepreneur, as an author, and of course, as a coach. But you started off working on Capitol Hill, which I thought was so interesting. Like, in today's time, I wonder if you could have survived by being there now with all that's going on. I wonder if you were just totally lost it and ran out of there screaming, or if you dodged a bullet by getting out before things got to the level of crazy that we're seeing right now. What did you learn most about you in that time when you were working around all these people who had power and influence and watching how they use it or didn't use it? What did you learn about you?
What I learned about me is how much I hate working for Fox News. That was the thing that we did most of the time, and just how easy it is for people with power to lie about things that, and then how easy it is to have people believe that thing because they want to trust. So like I would watch them off camera say something, and then they would go live and they would say something completely different. And like it was like breathing to them. And so then I would go back to our office and be like, oh my God, the news is still on. It's everywhere. It's it's constant. And like they're playing the same four things over and over and over and over and over again. And it's almost never the thing that's actually important. And it's like, so what I learned about myself there was I have to question anything that comes out of someone's mouth when they have power. Because they will say anything to keep that power, even if it is a lie. Even if it is a lie that they know is a lie. And so I do not like that. There are some people that can just, like, a lot of people I know can just be like, yeah, I know this is wrong, but it's okay. They just like, they just talk themselves out. And like, I can't do that. I have to like, I want to jump across a table and like shake somebody. That's not a great way to live when someone is as powerful as like a United States senator.
That makes sense. How that mindset, can't even combat the idea that you want to have people around you that are authentic and honest, and you have to see that. How does that impact your ability to create relationships when you see people who are willing to compromise, like in that example you just gave, where people kind of see that, say, oh, I know it's bad, but it's okay, it'll be all right. When you see people compromise like that, how does that help you, or how does it determine how you approach creating relationships, if that makes sense? Hopefully I asked that correctly.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier for me now than it was by then. Like my dad also like was the kind of person who would walk into a party and blow it up in 5 minutes. So I like learned early to like, I didn't want to be that kind of person.
By blow it up, you meant what?
Like if someone said something, even the slightest bit to his dislike, he would just like go off the rails and like he would go off the rails and it'd become like a big devolution. So like I've worked on it throughout my whole life to not say those things. But mostly before it was like, it would be like biting my tongue. But now I think in general for 99% of people, it's like, it's a them problem. Like this is a thing that's broken inside of them. And it's a thing that they don't want to see. So when you think about the change cycle, most people don't know that they should make a change or that a change is even possible. And then, so like that's 99% of people are like either willfully or unintentionally like putting their head in the sand. But then some people get to the next stage, which is avoidance. And then you're actually on the change cycle. So like the first part of the change cycle is avoid. You will avoid doing, be like, I know, but I'm not going to do it yet. Over time, though, before you get to acceptance, you enter this stage of fighting, where you're fighting Like you're like, oh, I know I have to do this, but I'm angry. I'm in that stage right now with something. But like, and like, I actually am okay with that stage. Once they get to, if they're not in the stage where they are either angry or accepting of a problem, then I can't help them. It's not even worth it for me to say it. I can say what I want to say, but I know that they're not receptive to hear it. It's not until they get to that, I accept there is a problem I need to change, which only about 3% of people get to ever. They actually like accept that changes and they want to do something about it. Then they are open to help. But until that point, you are basically, all you can do is tell them lovingly to like put resources in front of them and then let them come to the realization themselves, because it's not until they hit that acceptance level, like they're not going to change.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. All right. So a lot of folks come through, especially on, matter of fact, any one of our 4 shows, we see people who have a long list of titles in front of their name. Award-winning this, so-and-so this. You are a USA Today best-selling author. That was my favorite, it was my favorite newspaper growing up back in New York.
Yeah.
I even read it, even after I left, I still read it. Take us behind the scenes of what it actually means to be a best-selling author on that level. What does it look like? Are there benefits and perks that we wouldn't understand? Because I know people want to get their resume out and stuff. I want to kind of get behind that. What's that actually mean? Because sometimes the names and titles, after a while, there's so many of them that you can find. They're so easily attainable that they kind of dilute it. I'd love to hear what it actually means from your perspective as somebody who's considered a best-selling author in this medium. What's it look like?
Like, it's been now a decade since I got that title, roughly. Congrats. And it's also the only book I ever lost money on, like at launch. Like that title, I thought that I needed to get booked on shows and to do stuff, but like it doesn't change my actual life much in a day-to-day basis. Like what the titles are great for making it easy for people to say yes to talk to you or being receptive to you. But they actually don't. The people that I actually learn from the most tend to not have that many titles in their name. They've eschewed titles. The people the problem with titles is the people that get a lot of titles tend to also be the kind of people that want power and want acclaim. And the people that actually are doing the work and doing the thing and doing the interesting stuff, they just want to do the stuff. They just like want to make the thing. And they're like, I don't actually care. Like, I just want to like, look at this cool thing I made. And it's like, okay, how do you sell that thing? And they're like, I don't care. I'm just going to make the next thing. And I'm like, no, we need to. So there's 2 parts of being a creator that's like that you have to hold at the same time. The first is the audacity, like you've never been hurt, to like come up and ask and raise your hand. And the other is the empathy, like that empathy, like you've been hurt too much, which is how you can like empathize with humans and like know what they want and like know it on a deep level and make something that is like truly meaningful. Problem is these 2 things are diametrically opposed, and the people who get all the accolades tend to be the ones who have the most audacity, and they stand up and they ask for it, which tend to also be not any of you though that are listening. All of you are perfect. The ones who aren't doing it, like the most interesting work is done by people who can't explain the thing that it is because it's ephemeral. So it's very easy to explain how to do. I mean, it's like if you have a small town romance, if you have a Hallmark movie, it's a very easy to explain thing. But like a Hallmark movie is something that is great. I watch a lot of Hallmark movies. They're great. But like, I don't remember any of them. But like the best movies that I watch are like inexplainable. Like I just watched Mother Mary. I couldn't tell you what like Mother Mary was about. I love Meow Wolf. I couldn't like, go through Meow Wolf and then tell me what Meow Wolf is about. And you'd be like, I can't, like, literally nothing can explain this because it doesn't make any sense. And so those two things are something that you have to have at the same time. And so I spend a lot of my time showing people who have a lot of audacity how to get more empathy. But really, it's mostly how to get these people who like have great empathy to like actually stand up and ask to be counted.
I like it. I like it. So you talked a little bit about kind of well, let me put it in the form of a question. How would you advise somebody to be able to balance, I guess, being authentic and being authentic in doing business? I'm in a lot of business circles, and people say a lot of the right things. You know how it is, man. This is not new to you. They say all the right things, they have all the right terms, drop all the right quotes, make all of the right promises up front. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, from an authenticity standpoint, you find that people just, they can't seem to hold that line without it's starting to get muddled and the line starts to get a little blurry because they're doing business, and now it's about what they can get, and the value kind of takes a back seat. How do you advise somebody who's watching, listening today, who has a business like we do, perhaps, how to balance authenticity and still be able to be effective and profitable in business?
Sure. So I think that in general, you have to decide where your red lines are. Like, where is your, like, what actually is your integrity? And then you have to actually stick by it. Like, there's a lot of things I just will not do in my business. No, and I know that it's costing me money, but I do it with my eyes open, knowing that my integrity or like some principle that I have, and integrity means something different to everyone. So like what is the thing that actually matters that I can stick to? And it's really tough. We talk about this joy loop, and people are like, oh, it's just like happy go lucky stuff. Like, I'm just chasing my joy. But the first two steps, the first one and the most important one, is about radical acceptance. And radical acceptance is the ability to see what is actually happening across three dimensions. One, what I want, what I am actually doing, what my actions are actually bringing back to me, what others are doing, and what my relationship is to all of those stakeholders. And three, what are the life circumstances of what is happening right now, and what is happening when I actually do this stuff. The problem with the people generally, I'm going to give the rosiest thing. Obviously, people could be liars, but I'm going to take this as like, everyone wants integrity. Everyone wants to run a good business. Everyone wants to make money that they feel proud of at the end of the day.
Sure.
And so if you are that kind of person and you find yourself being wavering in this thing, it's probably because you are deluding yourself about what you actually want.
Wow. Okay.
What your audience actually wants, and what is actually true in your life. So it is never true that you have to do something. What is true is you can do anything as long as you accept the consequences for doing that. Like, and we don't actually think the consequences will ever catch up to us. So we think that like, if we never go to our daughter's recital because you're making money, like, that is you being like, but I'm protecting her. But your 5-year-old daughter doesn't know that. So what you're actually doing is either choosing to not think about what your 5-year-old daughter is actually thinking and what they actually want, or you're deluding yourself that money is going to last longer than it actually will. Or you're saying, this one, I'm going to not see my daughter's recital, but I'm going to go to the next 3, or I'm going to do this other thing with her. I'm going to like make it up to her in this way and then actually follow through. So what ends up happening most of the time when I work with people, the biggest thing that I do is the first step of our process is called attunement. Attunement is about what you actually want and what is actually happening. Because what ends up happening is you are listening to all of the other human beings around you saying, this is great, this is terrible, this is X, you should go to this one. And you're not actually saying, you don't actually know what you want. So you're saying, oh, well, I need to go and be on TikTok. No, you don't. You know how I know that? Because TikTok has only existed for a few years, and we have been doing business for thousands of years. So like when Sam Altman says like AI is going to displace everything, I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, you're still going to have to get a newspaper, and you're going to have to go somewhere to get that newspaper. Like, a robot's going to give you, not going to be able to deliver that newspaper right now. So like, there's businesses that will just exist. Like, people just want to go and get a weird cookie. Like, the cronut doesn't need to exist, but like, it does, and people buy it, and it's been very successful. So like, that is its own proof that
a
like
cronut analogy. Okay, Russell,
yeah, but like, you don't actually have to listen. So here's the thing: we all believe in a future. The problem is that all of these companies, all of these people are also telling you what the future is going to be, and they are putting it in a position where they are the only logical answer to get to that future. So if you believe AI is the future and that like everything is going to be AI and it's going to be displace jobs, you're going to have to get an open AI account, because like, it's coming. But like, the future is only the future. This will only be the future if enough people believe in it to push it forward. But so what we're doing is we're like, oh, this is the future. This is the future. This is the future. And every company's plotting their own future, and we get pulled in 100 directions. But the question is, what is the future that you actually believe? Like, what is the future that you want? And what are the things that are actually going to get you to that future? And everything else is nonsense, because it's all nonsense. Like, Facebook can't tell you what the future is going to be. Like, they don't live in the future. All we're doing is letting Mark Zuckerberg say the future is coming and it's AI or whatever. It's whatever his stupid meta thing is. And if enough people believe it, then his stupid meta thing will work. But if people are just like, actually, that's dumb. Notice it didn't work because everyone was like, this meta thing is stupid. So like, even he said, this is the future. And we were all like, nah, bro, this is not the future. So I know this is a long-winded way to be your question, but like, you have to get really good at saying, these are my red lines. These are the things I actually want. And these are the things that are going to get there. Because once you know those things, then you can ground yourself and say, well, I actually care about being at my daughter's recital. So I don't care if I make $100,000 on this deal, because money is ephemeral. There'll always be more money. Or you can say, actually, money is my number one metric. So like, actually, screw my daughter. I don't care. Like, I'm just going to go and get money. Like, I have very little stake in what you do, as long as you're not hurting yourself or someone else. What I do care about is whether you are happy. And so there are people that are sitting on a trading floor for 18 hours and they're thrilled. They just like love every minute of it. And like, that's great for them, I guess. I don't know. There are people that start a crypto company and that's great for them too. Whatever. I don't. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that are sitting here being like, oh, I'm really unhappy doing this thing. And that's the minute where I'm like, well, then we can change it. Like, we can make you happy with your life choices. You just have to know what happiness means, what the right opportunities are, and how you can attune. Because all you have to do is take your little radio tuner and be like, boop, oh, I'm attuned to look for different things. And the same opportunities exist. There's an infinite number of opportunities. Luck is falling like manna from heaven. But you think that you have to follow certain opportunities because that's how you're attuned. But if you just attune differently, you'll be like, oh, this is a whole nother frequency of opportunities. There's not less of them. They're just different, but they were there the whole time. You just couldn't see them because you were being drawn by other people. Oh, that was a long way to say to answer the question that you had, but like I went on a little tear there.
You sure did. And now we know Russell hates meta. So now we got that figured out. Okay, so good. We clarified that. With the time that we got left, I want to see if I can try to get you to answer just a couple of things in regards to what you mentioned about the joy loops and why you do that for clients. So you'll also be going into your coaching philosophy. So you'll probably be answering a two-part question for me.
Sure.
So share with us what your coaching philosophy is. You may have already shared a piece of that, but just a little bit more detail. And then how you're using the joy loops to help your clients. Go ahead.
Sure. So my philosophy is that we think joy follows success, but the opposite is true, and it is the only possible way. Success follows joy. End of stop. It is the only way it could ever happen. So when you enjoy something, two things are happening. One, you like the activity, and two, you're getting a positive feedback loop from it. So the more you enjoy something, the more of a positive feedback loop you're probably getting, which means you're getting natural traction on that thing. You are putting in, we call it return of energy spend. You're putting in 1 unit of energy and more than 2 are coming out. It's exponential. And those are the activities that are going to be the easiest for you to monetize.
Okay.
Everyone loves marketing and sales. They just only don't think the things that they like are marketing and sales. If you ask 50 people whether they like marketing, they'll all say no, except for me. But if you ask them what marketing is, they will give you a very different idea because all of this is marketing. This conversation is marketing. You going out with like a potential client is marketing. You making your podcast better is marketing. All of these are different forms of marketing. And if you like them, like making your podcast better is called product-led growth. It means that your product is going, it's the same thing that Dropbox does. They made their product so good that people had to share it. And like that is the basis of how they made billions of dollars based on that one thing. So like everything is marketing. And the things that you think are joyful in that marketing are the ones that are most likely to bring you success. This is not to say that you should just monetize everything. I'm not saying you could go gazpacho tasting and like build a tech empire, but there's something inside of you that aligns that will resonate with people enough that you can monetize it. And our job is to figure out what it is. And so the number one thing that I go through for clients when they call, the first call is usually, tell me what you do that you enjoy. And they will give me a long list of stuff. And then I say, oh, do you enjoy that? And so those are the things you're just like, no, those are the things that I do. And I go, okay, well, like, what are the things you enjoy? And we go through this cycle because they never say the things you enjoy. And I say, okay, so
they don't know, that's why.
Right. So it's like question 2. What are the 3 things in your business that always work? Because everyone has them. You must have at least one magic trick, which like you can fall back on. Businesses do not survive if they do not have a magic trick that they can always fall back on in stress. So most people have 3. And I say, what are your 3 magic tricks? And assuming they have them, I say, when was the last time you did any of them? And they say no. Because this is the other thing about magic tricks. You never want to do them again. Those are boring because they're easy. You did them already. So like, you're like, so then the third thing is, okay, so your business is stalling. You're not doing anything you enjoy. Your audience isn't responding, and you haven't launched anything that you know works in a while. Do you think there's any correlation between those things? And they're like, probably. I'm like, okay, well, like, let's just break that down. And like, then we go through what I call the joy loop. Joy loop is step 1, attunement. We talked about that at length. I'm not going to do that again. 2 is what are opportunities? So step 2 is taking no out of your vocabulary. If you talk to someone for 5 minutes, Just let them talk about what about themselves or about something they're doing, and they are going to kneecap themselves at least a dozen times in a bunch of different ways. My wife hates me because I showed her how to do this, and now every conversation she's in, she's like, "Oh my God, all they do is say no." They don't say no to me; they say no to themselves. They'll say, "I can't. That's not going to work. This is not going to. We shouldn't." Da, da, da. And every time you say the word no, even if it's about someone else, you are talking that into existence. I'm not saying you say, I can do anything, but being good at business is a combination of being realistic and being delusional. You have to know what you want. And then you have to actually believe that you can do the thing to get it. And so every business is delusional. All success is delusional. When you're in first grade, when you get out of kindergarten, the first thing you say is, I'm a first grader now. And it's like, no, you're not. You're a kindergartner plus 1 day. You haven't even started first grade yet. So like we are delusional from the first day that we start doing stuff. We cannot make ourselves exist in the future in the way we want unless we believe that it's going to be possible. So now when you stop saying no, you start seeing opportunities. And instead of saying, I can't do that, being like, I don't know. That's possible. That's possible. Maybe. I don't know. Like that's probably not going to work, but it might. I don't know. And like you start seeing opportunities. And then the parts we don't have probably time for are the path of least friction, which is how you actually build a path to get those opportunities to your sales environment. And then your good chaos engine. The good chaos engine is actually how you magnetize people to you, how you magnetize opportunities to you. It has nothing to do. Notice this is 4 steps. None of it has anything to do with sales yet. It's just about getting the right opportunity to you. And then once you do that, the sales are inevitable. So if you're having a problem with sales, the problem is you have not set up the rest of your environment up correctly so that the sale is inevitable. By the time you get to your sales and ecosystem, you should be the only inevitable, logical person for your person to buy from if they have your problem. Because that is what every company does. We call it your winning axis. And the main thing that we do is say, what is the axis where you win, where there is no competition and where people have to buy from you if they want to solve this problem? And after that, there's like a positive feedback loop. And then it's a loop because you do this. The first time, it's going to be bad. If you did this today, Mr. You would not do it well. And that's okay because you get better. Because you have to get through that sales cycle to be like, oh, what is the feedback from it? Let me change the loop. Let me make it go faster. Let me spin. Let me make it better. Let me make this part and optimize it. But you can't do that at all if you don't at least make a hypothesis about what you want. Going through the joy loop, you'll know whether you got the thing or not. And be like, oh, I got everything I wanted and it sucked. I hated that. Okay, great. Make a different assumption and go through it again.
Sounds like fun, man. But you're definitely a very creative thinker, and I love it. I love that you have your own mind about things, and I'm sure it comes through not only in your coaching work, which we can clearly see in entrepreneurship, and you're serving others, and you're authoring books and everything, man. But thanks also for being on our show, man, and making us a part of your day, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. Hopefully you go to happilist.com. I also have a podcast called Happilist, which maybe can help you out.
I want you to drop all that information right now where people can find you. I have your website up on the screen. Are all those other mediums available on your website, or do you need to shout them out verbally?
If you just go to russellnohelty.com, you'll have the option to either go to my reader site or my entrepreneurial site, and then you can make your own opinion. You can have a choose your own adventure.
All right. And your podcast, what's your podcast about real quick?
It's Happilist. It's interviews with people who do like weird, interesting businesses and in weird and interesting ways and want to bring more joy and want to optimize their business for joy and make money doing it.
I love it, brother. Happilist, right?
Happilist. It's like capitalist with an H.
I love it, man. We'll drop that in the show notes as well, man. But for all you guys watching and listening, of course, we're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook right now. And we're having it up on audio platforms, hopefully in the month of June. We're jam-packed scheduling wise. But Russell Nohelty, author, coach, entrepreneur, creative thinker. I think the man's a Renaissance man, too. Just undercover about it, man. But thanks for being here, Russell.
Thanks for having me.
Love your mindset, man. Thanks for the time today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
If you guys are watching, listening for the first time, thanks again for doing that. We appreciate it. Drop us some love on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TheyCallMeMrU. Of course, we got 4 shows. Check out some of them. Give us a follow. 5-star review wouldn't hurt on Apple Podcasts. We love that. But thanks again for being a part of what we're doing, what we're building here. Have a fantastic day. That's Russell. I'm Mr. U. We're out of here. Have a good one.